Hello everyone, my name is Aarti and you're watching HW News. After the unceremonious exit from Brazil, indigenous vaccine maker Bharat Biotech is looking at an uncertain future in the United States. The US firm with which it had tied up to launch Covaxin in the foreign country is now facing a class action lawsuit in Pennsylvania. The lawsuit has been filed by US law firm Pomeranz, citing certain violations of the US federal securities law. The firm faces allegations of fraud by its investors, and all of this has a Covaxin connection. So what is that connection? Why are investors suing Bharat Biotech's US partner, and what does it mean for Bharat Biotech? We will try and understand in this video today, but before that, if you're watching this video on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe to our channel, you like this video and you comment below it. And if you're watching this video on Facebook, please do like our page and share this video to as many people as possible. On February 2nd of this year, almost 15 days into the rollout of vaccine drive in India, the news hit the headlines. The joint statement issued at the time said that Nasdaq-listed biopharmaceutical firm Ocugen and Bharat Biotech have entered into a definitive agreement to co-develop, supply and commercialize Covaxin for the US market. Ocugen will have US rights to the vaccine candidate, and it will also be responsible for clinical development, regulatory approval, including the emergency use authorization and commercialization for the US market. Initial doses for use in the US will be supplied by the Indian vaccine maker. So this is what the joint statement said. Before that, in the month of December 2020, Ocugen and Bharat Biotech had signed a binding letter of intent to co-develop Covaxin for the US market. Now first let us understand what exactly is Ocugen. According to its LinkedIn bio, Ocugen is a biopharmaceutical company which is focused on discovering, developing and commercializing gene therapies to cure blindness diseases and developing a vaccine to fight COVID-19. Now the company's major focus is products for eye diseases. However, as the pandemic hit the world and race for developing vaccines started off, the company partnered with India's Bharat Biotech to develop Covaxin in the US market. Now one must here understand that the pharma race in the pandemic-ridden world and what it is about. Vaccine demands are up and the pharma companies producing vaccines are in high demand. Countries are procuring millions of doses of vaccines, and as of today there are only limited options available to choose from the vaccine basket. Covaxin is among the few vaccines that are available in the market today and are one among the best. While Pfizer and Moderna vaccines are being widely used in the United States, concerns are mounting over the emergence of new variants of the virus. In the month of April, White House Chief Medical Advisor and America's top pandemic expert Dr. Anthony Fauci had said that Covaxin was found to neutralize the 617 variants of coronavirus. Now this endorsement not only boosted Covaxin's market potential but also of Ocugen, and it is also reflected in its share price. Now let us talk about Ocugen shares hitting high. Now here is an interesting tale how the partnership with Bharat Biotech boosted Ocugen's share prices on Nasdaq. 2 months before Ocugen announced its partnership with Bharat Biotech, it was facing the threat of its shares being delisted from Nasdaq. Now, Nasdaq requires companies to maintain a minimum bid price of $1 to stay on the trading platform. Ocugen failed to do so. However, in the month of February, the company entered into definitive agreement with Bharat Biotech and also claimed to seek emergency use authorization for the same from US FDA. This collaboration, which gave Ocugen US rights to this lucrative vaccine candidate, drove the stock prices up. On February 5th, the company submitted investor presentation that described in great detail the Covaxin vaccine characteristics, the unmet need in the United States, and Ocugen's plan to develop and file an emergency use authorization with the US Food and Drug Administration. Within a month of this announcement, shares of Ocugen, which were barely meeting the minimum trading listing price of $1 apiece, shot up to $18. This, however, came at a time when Bharat Biotech had not submitted its phase 3 data to Indian regulators yet. In the month of April, Bharat Biotech announced impressive data from the second interim analysis of its phase 3 study of Covaxin, which showed 78% of overall efficacy against COVID-19 disease, 100% efficacy against severe COVID-19 disease, including hospitalization, and 70% efficacy against asymptomatic COVID-19 infection. Now let us talk about when Ocugen said that there is no emergency use authorization for the vaccine. Now this rally that we just spoke about took a beating in the month of June when the FDA rejected the company's emergency use application. In the same month, US also asked Indian students who were vaccinated with Covaxin to get revaccinated as the vaccine candidate was not approved by the WHO back then. On June 10, 2021, Ocugen issued a press release announcing that it would pursue a biologics license application with the FDA instead of the previously announced emergency use authorization. Now, this news hit the market and its share prices on Nasdaq also. On the release of the news, the company's share price declined from $9.31 per share of Ocugen stock on June 9, 2021 to close at $6.69 per share on June 10, 2021, a drop of approximately 28.14%. Interestingly, it was in the month of May itself that US FDA had said that it will not entertain any new emergency use authorization applications on COVID vaccines. And despite this, Ocugen promoters in a public statement claimed that they won't be impacted by this. However, within next 2 weeks, in a new statement, Ocugen said that the US FDA has asked it to apply for a full approval, which essentially means emergency use authorization was not granted to them. And the share prices crashed after that. Many investors who had pinned hopes on the vaccine rollout had to suffer losses. Now let us talk about the Pennsylvania class action lawsuit. This class action lawsuit was filed in the District of Pennsylvania on July 19th against Ocugen and its promoters. The shareholders of Ocugen alleged that the company's promoters Shankar Musnori and Sanjay Subramaniam committed fraud by deliberately sharing materially false and misleading statements over the progress of the Covaxin between February 2nd and June 10th. It said, and I quote, "Each of the individual defendants is liable as a participant in a fraudulent scheme that deceived the investing public regarding Ocugen's business, operations, management, and the intrinsic value of its securities." Now, Ocugen has called the lawsuit without any merit and said that it will fight it vigorously. Now, there are certain aspects and questions that we must be talking about in the context of the above discussion that we just had. First, at a time when Ocugen partnered with Bharat Biotech, it did not have phase 3 data of its vaccine candidate Covaxin. As per the US FDA rules, the companies seeking emergency use authorization have to produce full details of the vaccine, including the complete phase 3 data and data on the vaccine's response to the US population. Bharat Biotech had neither, and still Ocugen said it is on track to receive emergency use authorization from US FDA. Secondly, when in the month of May, the US FDA said that it will not issue any more emergency use authorizations, why did the company say that it will have no impact on its application? Third, after their share prices rose, Ocugen apparently sold shares worth $10 million between the month of March and April, all while promising that it will get emergency use authorization. Now remember, it was also the time when the vaccine received good review from Dr. Anthony Fauci. Number 4. Now this question is for Bharat Biotech. When both companies signed a binding letter of intent in the month of December 2020, the Ocugen share price was hovering around 29 cents. Since then, it increased almost 800% until the month of February 2021. Did Covaxin makers check the company's financials? How did they tie up with a company that was on the verge of being delisted from Nasdaq? Why did it select Ocugen as its US partner and on what basis? The company that majorly focuses on eye diseases. If we have to look at the broader picture, here is what it looks like. A US company on a verge of being delisted got a booster after it partnered with Bharat Biotech to produce Covaxin for US market. It made promises of seeking emergency use authorization for the vaccine, and people invested in the stocks hoping for a positive outcome. This drove the share prices up. Company sold shares worth $10 million. However, the bubble burst when the US FDA refused to give emergency use authorization to the vaccine. Now, the answers must be sought for the questions above. Why did Bharat Biotech select Ocugen, an obscure company, to be its US partner despite having one of the best vaccine candidates in the world? Do let us know what you think about this in the comment box below. For more news and updates, you can log on to www.hwnews.in.
Now be the first to know about the latest updates on our new news app. Go on your Android or iOS, search for HW News Network. Download our app, choose the language you prefer to get updates in, and be up to date with the latest news.
If you like this video, please share it, and we would love to hear your comments in the comments section down here. Also, please do like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter to get minute-to-minute news updates. For more such shows and videos, well, subscribe to our YouTube channel.